I like to take time on days like this to not just remember, but to be grateful. Grateful for what? Well, this day in history, 75 years ago today, that's a big number, 75, because we are losing the men and the women that were alive at that point that made it happen. There's not many of them left. D-Day. D-Day happened today. 1944, June 6th, 75 years ago today, like I said. Check this out. The greatest invasion in military history. Greatest not only in cause, but in volume. Without that day, you and I probably would not be having this discussion right now. You wouldn't be looking at me because we probably would be speaking German. Yeah, it's heavy duty. I like to think about this stuff because when I hear people that live in our nation or reap the rewards and the fruit of what our nation created, when I hear people tear on it, beat it up, talk down about it, they have no idea what they're talking about. They have not looked at the totality of history and what the people from our great nation have done not only for us to elevate us up out of the dirt, but for mankind as a whole. There's an interesting quote, paraphrase version of it. Adolf Hitler said towards the beginning of the war, those Americans are never going to amount to much. What a great object lesson of somebody that grossly overestimated themselves and grossly underestimated somebody else. What great takeaway there. Check this out. This is some amazing numbers. On the first 3 days of the invasion, 38 convoys of 745 ships moved into the coast there, supported by 4,066 landing craft. They carried 185,000 men to shore, 20,000 vehicles, 347 minesweepers, and the air assault alone comprised 18,000 of America's finest paratroopers. 1,087 aircraft took off to take those men behind enemy lines, knowing full well that there were thousands of Germans entrenched. You know, those paratroopers, it should give you goosebumps. They volunteered for that. They didn't get forced to do it. They volunteered to go, many of them never coming home. That's heavy duty stuff. The 42 available divisions that had air support comprising 13,175 aircraft. Think about those numbers. 13,175 aircraft. Within a month, check this out, 1,100,000 troops landed on those shores. 200,000 vehicles. That's mind-numbing. 1.1 million people, that's the population of some of the biggest cities in the world, landed on that 50-mile stretch of beach to push in to crush the Germans, to crush evil. Not the German people, but what was happening at that time that the Nazis were pushing on the rest of Europe and the world. 750,000 tons of stores and munitions were landed there. You know what's really cool to me? This was done before cell phones, before computers, before satellite communications, before super advanced radar, before they had things like Kevlar. That wasn't even invented, Kevlar fiber, until 21 years later in 1965. No GPS, right? These were people navigating ships and airplanes the old-fashioned way. Men with cotton and wool on and leather-soled boots, holding wood-stocked rifles, just like this one. Wood-stocked rifles. Just like this one. This one is a Springfield. It's an M1 Garand that I picked up through the civilian marksmanship program. All numbers matching Springfield. It's had some work on it. This one came after World War II. This guy was put together in 1946 and probably was in the hands of a Korean War vet. This is moving to think about 17, 18, 19-year-old boys marching off to go fight back evil. It's good that we remember this. It's good that we honor them. No, this isn't a video about the guns. This is a modern rendition. This is a Series 80 Colt. But just thinking about this stuff that we still enjoy exists because all of these people did this. At home, women leaving their kids so they could go off and create tanks and planes and bullets and food. It's amazing what we did together. Check out what Eisenhower had to say to these boys before they left that morning. This is heavy-duty stuff.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
Pretty heavy-duty stuff there, guys. Pretty heavy-duty stuff. We think about this. We see these documentaries. You maybe hear me talking about it for whatever my words are worth. And my intention here is this. Never, ever take for granted for 1 second the life that you live. You are alive today because of things like that. You may have some hippy-dippy world outlook that tells you like, hey man, some cosmic reason that I'm here. You are here because people did very amazing feats to keep our shores free, to fight back tyranny, not just in the last 100 years, but before that. And you may bring up injustices that took place. They sure as hell did. And also some great and amazing acts of courage, of bravery, of honor, and of service. Dwell on those things. Think on those things. Today, on a day like today, remember. Hold yourself accountable to a standard that makes your life worthy of the gift that was given to you. Be well.